I like their shells better. You make regular mac, and it's just like, who cares, you know? But the shells, you just open up the cheese packet, put it in, and it's done. And the shells taste better.
Here, baby.
Better, right?
Before you say anything, yes, I know I look like a fucking magician. Listen, I haven't got, like, any clothes other than weird themed shirts. So, I'm gonna try to get some more, but this is all I have. All I have is the magician. All I have. Check my whole wardrobe. I just have a bunch of weird themed shirts. But I do have Coke. See, I'm not gonna make the mistake of drinking it and then pouring it on my shirt this time. On with the fucking video. I need my lighting. Fuck. Right. Time to turn on my lighting. Oh! That was the wrong lighting. Give me a minute. What is that? Ow. It just flashed red. We've got the lighting, we've got the drinks, and we've got the disclaimers. Also, yes, the microphone is an aesthetic choice. My sense of humor is kind of hinged on me being overly mean.
Hands up anyone who doesn't think that the correct answer to 2 + 2 is 4.
You know, bless him. At least he knows that 2 + 2 is 4. If you want to break CAD Matlock down into its simplest form for people who, for lack of a better word, are fucking stupid. So these two dickheads are going around pointing bright camera lights in these people's faces. Okay, Cheeto, I'm not like claiming to know you or anything, but I fucking guarantee you would not go full John Wick mode on a group of intruders. It's a fucking baffling idea from the mental image I have of you, but to be fair, I only have your voice.
Smell my farts and eat my sharts. I don't care what you have to say.
And you sound like a 14-year-old boy. I know in these videos I radiate masculinity, but I'm actually a very meek boy, a very meek young boy. I know it must destroy you to hear someone talk shit about your favorite YouTuber, me, you know, but it has to be said. I'm a beta, and I love being overly mean to people for a joke. And usually I think this whole routine is kind of deserved, you know? I don't care about Cheeto's feelings, I don't care about GB News' feelings, and I definitely don't care about Mr. Iglesias' feelings. But like, the guy I'm covering today isn't that bad. I don't think he's like a horrible person. At least not as bad as the other people. Like, he just makes some shitty videos, but I don't actively hate him. He's a commentary channel, which from my admittedly limited view, doesn't seem like a total piece of shit.
Guys, the creator of Minecraft Notch, or Marcus Person, is getting cancelled on Twitter for Sonic and calling Minecraft a dead game. People started bringing up his controversial past and his comments he made back then on trans women, which if you don't know, he said that he doesn't think trans women are real women, which I personally think is kind of messed up. And a lot of people think the same way because they kept clowning him, showing off old offensive tweets and posting Sonic pictures with the pride flag just to get him triggered. And even some big people were calling him out, and it's just a mess over the last couple hours.
I don't think you realize how refreshing the bare minimum is after watching a Cheeto for months. And listen, I don't say the bare minimum to take away from LapisGoBlue's point. I think it's really cool that he can say that, and it definitely makes me not see him as a total shithead. I say bare minimum because you don't realize how bad the commentary community is when it comes to basic human rights and decency. I hate that I'm a person who knows who fucking Ween is. Oh, by the way, I did eventually unsubscribe from a Cheeto. I started to realize that it just made me feel actively worse watching this baby, this infant, this child rant about fucking nothing. It took me a year to realize that watching a Cheeto was actively bad for my mental health. So yeah, I think I'm gonna die of a heart attack at the age of 35 if I can't figure out self-awareness. Anyway, let's on with the video. In case you couldn't tell, I love discourse. I get off on that shit. Fucking hell, that's definitely a better way to say that. In my mind, the worst thing a piece of media can be is boring. I don't see the point in talking about shit if it's fucking boring. There's this idea online that people criticizing things is canceling, and I fucking hate that idea because it totally destroys people's willingness to discuss things. If someone doesn't like an aspect of a movie, that doesn't mean they hate it, and it certainly doesn't mean they're trying to cancel it. I love Die Hard, but its politics really suck. It's a phenomenal action movie, but I think it's really weird that it implies rules of engagement for police inhibit the ability to stop crimes and not, literally save innocent lives. I get that it was an accident that the police officer killed a kid. I personally think the police should work on a one-child shooting and you're out kind of basis. The movie continuously implies that the police force would be able to get more done if they had more McClanes, when in real life, if a police force plays fast and loose with rules of engagement, people throwing stones are shot in the fucking face. Is that me canceling Die Hard? No, I'm discussing some weird parts of a movie I like. Now, why does this matter? Well, maybe watch the whole fucking video before you ask me. I'm in the middle of a cold open, try some fucking patience. Anyway, today we're talking about a YouTuber called LapisGoBlue. He's a commentary channel which makes very short videos. I don't know how he does it. I have no self-restraint whatsoever. The only way I can make shorter videos is by writing the script twice and cutting out the fat, and still, they end up being like 40 minutes long. LapisGoBlue makes bad videos. How else am I supposed to fucking describe these? They're like 4 minutes long and yet still have a ton of repetition.
What's going on, guys? Come back to another fresh commentary. Now guys, She-Hulk just came out, and let me tell you, Better Call Saul fans are upset with Disney. And it's all because of this ad showing She-Hulk sitting on a bench with an advertisement behind her. But honestly, I don't think it's stealing anything from that show. I mean, they're both lawyers. It's a common thing to put ads on a bus stop bench. Saul Goodman didn't start this. It's been a thing for ages. He kind of just popularized it, you could say. That's how the writers got the inspiration for the show in the first place. The writers just took the inspiration from other lawyers that they probably passed by IRL. Better Call Saul made the idea of all the lawyer advertisements on benches more known to people who didn't really notice until now when they watched the show, but they didn't really invent it. But it's not right to say that they copied Better Call Saul using bus stop ads for She-Hulk, because that's a thing in real life, not just in these shows. So guys, just relax. Disney may have gotten inspiration from the legendary Saul Goodman for She-Hulk's new ad, but it's not fair to say that they copied the show, because what about all the other lawyers that advertise their brand IRL and show it on bus stop benches and billboards and stuff? It's just a common thing to do.
How hard is it to make a fucking script for a 4-minute video? You could write a fucking script in an afternoon. It does not sound more relatable if you're improvising the whole thing, you fucking piece of shit.
I suppose you're quite content in your swimming pool. Babe to the same.
Section 1. God did not create multiverses. I like multiverses. The hitboxes suck, the lag is unbelievably bad, and the matchmaking keeps assigning me to fucking professionals while I can't hit half my attacks. But it's reasonably fun, and they're adding Stripe from the Gremlins, so yeah, it's the best game ever made. However, some freaking morons are kind of mad because the Iron Giant is in the game. At least that's what I've been told by the video. People are mad the Iron Giant is in multiverses.
Now guys, people are mad that the Iron Giant is in multiverses. Fans of the OG hit movie are furious because the Iron Giant is in this free-to-play fighting game.
Without any context, this doesn't make any sense. Why are people mad? Why is my boy, my friend, my buddy, the Iron Giant, a weapon of mass destruction, not allowed to beat the shit out of a 14-year-old boy? Just for reference, he made 2 videos expressing this exact point. I will be dipping into both throughout this video. I was considering making it a little gag at the end of the video where I pick the other Iron Giant video and I'd be like, oh, is this another fucking Iron Giant video? I would have delivered it like that. But these are practically identical videos, to each to their own, but this is the laziest content I've ever fucking seen.
And it's all because he's fighting in the game, which I think is so dumb. But they think that this goes against everything the character represents.
They think this goes against everything the character represents. Wait, what does he represent? Well, The Iron Giant is pretty explicitly an anti-violence movie. Not to get too deep, but the movie was pitched after director Brad Bird's sister was shot and killed by her estranged husband, and the original book represented the author Ted Hughes trying to reassemble himself following his wife's suicide. So yeah, I think it's kinda justified to be mad at Warner Bros. For fucking putting this character in the game, when the respective media is so heavily entrenched in real-life tragedies.
Now guys, people are mad that the Iron Giant is in Multiversus.
We got a little Cheeto magic here. The video may be called People Are Mad, but not a single of the aforementioned people are shown. It's a dogshit tactic to control the narrative surrounding a controversy and having to avoid emotionally engaging with a topic because your audience is made up of 14-year-olds who think expressing emotion is being triggered.
For some odd reason, people have been calling Multiversus violent.
Like, who thinks this? Please elaborate even slightly. And let's stop pretending tweets are even close to being a way people express genuine anger.
Who cares if he's fighting other people even though it's something he wouldn't really do? I think it's silly how people get triggered over something so dumb nowadays.
They're triggered? I feel like a lot more effort goes into a 4-minute video than a 2-sentence tweet. I've mentioned this before, but people really overestimate the significance of tweets. Normally when I tweet, I just fucking puke an opinion out. I've practically resigned myself to tweeting once a month with some stupid shit I couldn't find a place for in the video. So how exactly does Lapis destroy these non-existent people's non-existent arguments? Well, he says it's self-defense.
I know to them it may feel like he doesn't belong in the game, but in some way they always make it work. Like in the trailer, it was like self-defense even though they didn't know each other.
Which makes me think he doesn't know what the Iron Giant is about. The Iron Giant is against violence, even in self-defense. He is pretty adamant he's not a gun.
It was an accident. He's our friend.
He's a piece of hardware, Hogarth. Why do you think the army was here?
He's a weapon. A big gun that walks.
I'm not gun.
Guns can also be used for self-defense, so the idea that the Iron Giant is okay with self-defense is weak. He refuses to fight back against the military, who are in the middle of attacking him, until Hogarth is injured and he murders them all. But that's pretty explicitly a tragic scene. We're meant to see this as the giant being consumed by a horrifying rage. It's supposed to be sad, not fucking cool. I am on some level aware that Steven Universe is, in a lot of respects, an anti-violence show. Because Steven was a big pussy who thought that befriending space Nazis was a good idea. What a weird show. But Steven Universe is not nearly as averse to violence as the Iron Giant. Steven traps a fucking civil rights activist in hell, and Garnet's got big punchy fists that she punches people with. I once again would like to say that a lot of this comes down to the context, because the Iron Giant seems to be a deeply personal movie, and I think it's shitty they abused that property for money, because at the end of the day, Multiversus is a product made by humans. The Iron Giant being in the game was a choice. They could have picked any character. They could have picked the Mask, Top Cat, I'd love to see him, Dick Dastardly, not the shitty one, the one from Wacky Races, or preferably, don't know how you're gonna market it, there's Yankee Doodle Pigeon! He's my pick. If you're gonna add fucking Dick Dastardly, you gotta add Yankee Doodle Pigeon. But the Iron Giant is not necessary, so even if they had a fucking airtight argument, you could still complain that it feels kind of disrespectful.
How are you gonna hate on the game just because he's fighting in a fighting game? What else is he supposed to do? That's what the game is all about. It's just a fun little addition to the fighting game that we should all enjoy and not be mad about. Oh hey, they don't usually punch people, they're a gentle being. But I mean, what else are they gonna do? It's a fighting game, they have to do something.
Yeah, I get he's in a fighting game, but he didn't have to be. That's just a weak-ass argument. This is a fucking game made for profit. We're not honored by the Iron Giant's presence.
Just be happy these characters were even included, and we can actually play as these characters because that alone should be an honor.
Lapis, for some reason, seems to think that the Iron Giant needs or is at least benefited by more content.
Like, just be happy that they're even a part of this project. The Iron Giant hasn't even gotten new content in decades, so I could care less what anybody else says. This is a good move on their end.
He loves this argument.
So instead of people being upset that the Iron Giant is in the game, because that's not what he represents, he's a pacifist, they should be happy that he's even a part of this entire thing. I mean, come on, man. When was the last time we got some content out of this character? It's been years or almost even decades.
The Iron Giant is a fucking movie. You don't need more content, just watch the movie. The characters have gone through a logical and complete character arc in an hour and 26 minutes. Just leave them be. Call me a ratchety old man, but I don't think things need to be brought to like a distant, logical conclusion. Take the ending of Halloween. It's a great ending for an anthology movie. It creates a mystery while also not ruining the movie's story arc. It's a horror stinger. They're common in films. You know, it turns out the girl gremlin survived and now her and this guy are gonna fuck. But when you take it to a logical conclusion, you get a franchise of mediocre movies which still don't realize they've hedged all their bets on a concept that wasn't very flexible to begin with. I mean, it's just a fucking guy with a knife who walks around a neighborhood killing teenagers. The Iron Giant also has an ending like Halloween. That doesn't mean it needs a sequel. What possible addition could be made to the Iron Giant? You could argue that the sequel to the original novel could be used in some capacity, but I just don't know how much that would add. Of course, the Iron Giant in Multiversus is not a sequel, and I personally don't care that he's in the game that much. But I mean, does anyone really care? When I make a video criticizing Mr. Iglesias and saying the show really makes him come across as a bad person, I'm not that invested. Sure, I can make an hour-long video, but I don't expect anything to come from it. When people explain how it's weird to include the Iron Giant in Multiversus, it's a conversation starter. Did you know that stuff about why the movie was created? I mean, maybe you fucking did, but it's interesting and really puts on display the lack of thematic clarity a lot of these games and movies have. Ready Player One had someone pilot the Iron Giant in a war. That doesn't seem that great. That shows a lack of thematic conviction. Why choose the Iron Giant? Well, it's because Warner Bros. Made it. Just like they fucking made Space Jam 2 and Multiversus. It's a fucking cash grab, plain and simple. I think it's perfectly fine to call out Warner Bros., but I kind of draw the line at defending them. I think it sort of normalizes that we should just accept the hand we're given by big companies. I just find the idea that the Iron Giant needs more content to be a slap in the face to an already satisfying film. Final point I'd like to draw your attention to is this clip.
And the interactions between the characters are nothing like we've seen before. Like, who would have thought a character like Velma would be talking to Batman? That's like a massive crossover, bro.
Yeah, Velma and Batman in the same room, that would never happen. It would never happen in, say, 1972, to pick a random year. They also had a Scooby-Doo Batman crossover in 2018. So yeah, get owned. Section 2. Who is that hunky guy, and has he beat
MALENIA, Blade of MIQUELLA.
I've beaten Elden Ring, MALENIA and all a couple times. I know, it's impressive. You can hit the like button if you so wish. Lapis believes I should be proud of this achievement, which, I mean, I am, but I don't really care that much. Basically, it turns out Elden Ring got an easy mode mod, and Lapis is not a big fan of that decision. Let me make myself clear. If you complain about games not having difficulty options, you're a little baby. I think games can have them. One of my favorite games, Celeste, has a mode that just makes you invincible. I do not care. You know, surprisingly enough, I think allowing people to play video games is good. Not every game has to be about who can pull their fucking fingernails out without painkillers. But I think it shows an entitlement to think people should hamper their artistic vision to kowtow to your preference. Elden Ring has a set difficulty because that's how it was intended. Complaining about that difficulty is okay, just don't go around acting like you deserve an easy mode. It's like asking Stanley Kubrick to make a Space Odyssey even slightly more understandable. He wanted to make it a fucking convoluted mess, and I love that about it, the same way I love Elden Ring's set difficulty. I'm also really bad at interpreting movies, so maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. What I don't love is Lapis's opinion that the existence of this mod will ruin the game.
But people don't like how hard the game is. They're whining and complaining, so much so that it sparked a little community around the idea for an easy mode mod for the game.
Heaven forbid people try to make a game easier with an optional mod. Might I add, he hadn't even played the fucking game yet. I'm not sure if he even has a horse in this race. So why do they have to play the game in normal mode?
Because although this may be everyone's first Souls type game, they gotta stay true to the tradition, man. Like, come on, if the game is hard, then just get better. It's just that simple.
They have to stay true to the tradition. Whatever that means.
I think many people are crazy addicted to this game. I mean, you do die a lot, and that just makes you want to play the game over and over again.
I guess it's dying a lot. Is dying a lot why this game is good? It's not the insane world building or the engaging combat. It's dying a lot. You know, fuck traditional gender roles. Why doesn't society embrace traditional gamer roles? I just think boiling down Elden Ring to just being a hard video game is kind of basic. It's such a milquetoast take. Sure, these Souls-like games take a lot of getting used to, but I don't think it's fair to imply that they're being held up by their difficulty.
That if a game is hard, that's not gonna change just because people are complaining. That's just the way you're supposed to play the game. So if you don't like it, then don't play it. And don't ruin it for everyone else just because you're not having a good time on the game.
Listen fellas, if a game is hard, don't try and ruin it by making an optional mod. Games have mods that make them easier. You know, Minecraft has mods that add automatic mining to the game, and you don't see anyone complaining about them making it too easy for people. Okay, that's a way big oversimplification because you have to like work for resources to unlock the mining stuff, but shut up, fuck you, fuck you. Listen, if you agree with Lapis, I have a big dose of reality for you. Nobody cares that you beat Elden Ring. Nobody cares that I beat Elden Ring. It's a personal accomplishment that we and only we care about. Someone wanting to experience a game you like on easy mode does not devalue your gamer cred. Who cares how someone else plays a game? You beat it, and that's all that matters. Bit of a non sequitur, but I feel like you forfeit your right to use this get good shtick when you get stuck on what I assume is Radon. He might have meant Radigan, but Radon is funnier. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm gonna consume some chocolate. You guys ever had chocolate before? This chocolate was melting in my pocket. But it's Cadbury. No, it's caramel. It is Cadbury, but it's caramel. I didn't realize you could, like, melted caramel tastes good. Is that weird? Do you guys like eating in videos? You know, sure, I've still got chocolate in my mouth. If it sounds like my teeth are smacking together a lot more than usual, it's because there's probably caramel stuck in between them. You know, sure, Radon is hard, but surely a big, strong, traditional gamer should be able to beat what is ostensibly one of the first major bosses in the game. Lapis within this video acts like there was even a chance From Software would put this in the game.
I literally feel like compared to back then when gaming was blowing up in the early 2000s, nobody complained about how hard games were. If it were difficult, they would just try harder, game harder, and then they'll just adapt to the game's difficulty.
You may not realize this, but From Software did not and will not put an easy mode in the game. Lapis also said that this generation of gamers complain all the time.
But not in this generation, because they're used to the fact that if they so much as complain so much on the internet about how hard a game is, the devs will go out of their way to make the game easier for them, because they're scared that they'll lose that player base, or people will cancel their game, and it's sad. Don't believe me, this is gonna be a terrible comparison, but Fortnite. When Fortnite started blowing up, there were already people who played the game far better than any one of those streamers who recently hopped on the game. And what did they do? Complain on stream or take to social media to go out of their way to contact the developers for the game to remove, nerf, and fix things that fits their gameplay.
Here, I'm just gonna let it out.
By also showing a clip of a 30-year-old man. So last generation, not this one.
They'll do what they're doing right now and complain as much as they can, go out of their way to contact the devs, and pressure them to fix the game like they want it to be, and make an easy mode. But like, why, bro? That would just ruin the whole theme of the entire game. The thing that makes Elden Ring or any Dark Souls game out there so great is how hard the game is.
I think you're playing too many AAA games, man, and nobody's going to make their own Elden Ring. What does that even mean?
Other studios may even make their own versions of Elden Ring, because this is becoming way too popular to even pull away from.
The best thing about From... Oh my god. Caramel. Went down the wrong way. The best thing about From... The best thing... It always happens. I always do some fucking stupid shit during the video that just derails my thought process. The best thing about From Software games is that they're unbelievably unique. They stand out so clearly from their contemporary action games. So why would some big AAA company try and recreate their style? I get why indie companies do it, and at least the good games aren't even really copying them. But why would a AAA studio just fucking steal a recognizable format? I can't wait until the comments in like a year when Ubisoft releases their own Elden Ring. That's gonna suck.
Although this may be everyone's first Souls type game, they gotta stay true to the tradition, man. Like, come on, if the game is hard, then just get better. It's just that simple.
I don't know about you guys, but when I beat a good game on a lower difficulty, I am usually inclined to at some point try and beat the game on a harder difficulty to challenge myself. A lot of these people are not trying to move the goalposts. They're more than likely just trying to get a feel for the game. Elden Ring literally has 6 endings. Get a grip. People using an optional mod shouldn't take away your sense of accomplishment. And if it does, I think you should reflect on why you care so much instead of calling a bunch of people you don't know whiny babies. Wait, fuck, I did that. No, I think it was alright for me to say that. And if you disagree with me, I have one thing to say. Stop trying to cancel me. Bitch. Section 3. I don't know. He just kind of says some weird stuff sometimes. Hey guys, Camera Dan back again. My name's Danny. In case you didn't get that, Danny is my name, and it's that's my name, and I'm on camera. That's that joke. That's what that joke meant. I love this lighting. It's my favorite lighting. But I think we need a change. Clap for the transition. That was not a good clap. Fuck. Yeah, I'll just do it again. So this is like blue. This is like LapisGoBlue. It's more cyan. Dark blue is ugly, so we got cyan lighting. I had a hard time titling this section, so I just called it whatever came to mind first, which was, he just says some weird stuff. Like this video in which he claims that the Minions movie being successful means that the cinema staff will get a bigger paycheck.
Like I said, when it first started, it was just dudes going to watch the movie in a nice tux or suit. But now crowds of people are just buying out theaters to watch this movie. Which, don't get me wrong, is good for profit. So the majority of people shouldn't be complaining. I bet staff in theaters are making loads from that one session alone.
Does he think cinema staff get paid on commission? They get paid a salary. If a movie bombs, they're still gonna get paid. And they're not going to get paid more if a movie is successful. What a baffling idea. Where did he get this idea from? What the fuck?
Seems like it's a trend now to overhype stuff, and it becomes so oversaturated it actually does really well. Like what happened with Morbius. The movie was terrible, and now it's probably the best performing film this year. The irony, I know.
Wait, didn't Morbius flop? It only made like double its budget. Which is like definitely a flop for a superhero movie. Even the shitty Venom movie, which is 100 times worse than Morbius but doesn't have a funny name, it got like 5 times its budget. So like, yeah, Morbius flopped, it wasn't successful, what are you talking about? And then there's a video where Lapis explains why the Overwatch character McCree's name was changed to Cassidy.
Now guys, McCree has been renamed as Cole Cassidy in Overwatch. Talk about McCree's name change started in August and it's finally happened.
What's the deal with Cassidy? It's a video about sexual assault.
After the sexual harassment allegations within the company began. Because of the lawsuit, McCree's name has to be changed immediately.
I've said something to this effect twice in the video, but I don't want to bog this video down with like a bunch of really disgusting bullshit. But unfortunately, Lapis loves to just jump headfirst into any trending topic that has any interesting drama in it without any care for subject matter, depth, research. He doesn't fucking care. For context, Jesse McCree, the character, was named after a guy who worked for Blizzard. For more context, Blizzard is a gaming company that was and still is embroiled in sexual harassment lawsuits all over the wazoo. I don't know how to end the sentence. Of course, you don't need to watch my video to figure out this information. It's all very clearly laid out in the LapisGoBlue video.
If you don't know why McCree's name has been changed, it's because it's all a part of Blizzard's plan to remove references to real-life developers and former employees of the studio because of an ongoing lawsuit, with former employee Jesse McCree after the sexual harassment allegations within the company began. From the start, his name was borrowed for Overwatch's Cowboy Hero, so now because of the lawsuit, McCree's name has to be changed immediately.
Bit of a double negative here, but the video simultaneously says that the name change doesn't matter because people will still call him McCree.
But the game didn't just come out. Overwatch has been out for over 5 years, and I'm sure everyone's just gonna call McCree regardless of the name change.
And also implies that changing McCree's name is trying to change history and hide the lawsuit.
McCree is entirely different from Jesse McCree, and this name change will most definitely not make people forget about the ongoing allegations that this guy is facing. If anything, it kind of makes Blizzard look bad, because it seems like they're just trying to cover up what's going on by changing McCree's name, and not actually taking action on what's going on within their studio.
So obviously people will still call him McCree. You know, nothing will change, but also they're trying to rewrite history and change everything and make us forget about the lawsuit like it's fucking 1984. And there's also this point about Overwatch 2 getting delayed.
Because I for one hope it doesn't affect Overwatch's 2 progress, even though it kinda already did, and it will going forward. The game already had to be completely revised like I previously mentioned before, so it'll be a while before we get our hands on the game. And people weren't too happy about the reveal at all, referring to it as just a $65 update for Overwatch rather than a new game.
That's a great little side note you put in the video. Really great implications behind those sentences. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have came out and said all that stuff. I shouldn't have said that I was being sexually harassed. I shouldn't have said it was a sexist working environment. Because you wanted your kids' game faster. I'm sorry, man. I'll remember that next time. I won't come out about it. Or maybe next time something like this happens to me, I'll talk about it at a more convenient time for you. Let me just remind you what exactly the allegations were. So here's some quotes from possibly the greatest group chat in the history of mankind. Let's read some of these. Here, I'll take off the mask and then speak like this. Dave Kozak, I am gathering the hot chicks for the cause. Alex Afrazabi. Ooh, definitely said that one wrong. Brigham. Corey Stockton. Greg, you on the way? Dave Kozak, you can't marry all of them, Alex. Alex, that word. I can. I'm Middle Eastern. Man of the hour Jesse McCree, you misspelled fuck. Greg Street, at Hilton Bar. Jesse McCree, come up to the cause. For reference, that group chat was made up of very high-level Blizzard employees. Now, they kept on repeating the word cause. Now, what does that mean? You know? Is it perhaps a reference to charity, like a cause? No. Is it perhaps the Bloodborne boss? No, you fucking idiots. That is the Orphan of Cause with a K. Get your facts straight. It's actually a reference to infamous rapist Bill Cosby. There he is. At least a framed picture of him. With a bunch of Blizzard employees. So yeah, Jesse McCree would bring women to a room named after a rapist to have sex with them. Allegedly. None of this is mentioned in the LapisGoBlue video, and it's videos like these where a lot of my charity when it comes to Lapis really just, dies. You know, not to be mean, but let's call it as it is. Lapis's videos are jokes. They're churned out with half-developed ideas and little to no supporting evidence. I'm trying to be more positive, so I'll say this. If you want to make videos for money, go right ahead, you know? I do not care. But where I do start caring is when you make such dog shit videos about these really serious topics. You know, one week he's talking about the fucking Minions movie, and the next he's talking about a guy who idolizes a rapist. And he's acting with the same severity in each one. I don't know, it just seems really disrespectful. I don't know if Lapis will watch this video, and if he does, I don't know if he'll listen. But Lapis, stop making videos about such serious topics if you're not gonna go into the depth they deserve. Get your head out of your ass, Lapis. You make Among Us tutorial videos, stop trying to apply that formula to genuine, real-life political issues. We need to stop treating YouTube videos like they're meaningless. What a creator considers a filler video, and let's be honest, all these fucking videos are filler, could be very impactful for a viewer. So please stick to topics that mean nothing to no one, Lapis. You know, make videos about Elden Ring and Multiversus, because you're obviously incapable of emotionally engaging with any serious topic. I'm sorry for getting so angry in this, like, joke video, but what the fuck was he thinking? I don't know, let's just take a fucking page out of Lapis's book and go to a completely different topic. Lapis doesn't know the difference between weed and tobacco. I don't smoke. You know, smoke and alcohol sort of fill in the same part of my brain. I've had some bad experiences with them, so I just kind of avoid them. It's just personal choice, really. You know, I'll have a beer every now and again, but I doubt I'd go much further than that. But I mean, other people can. I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't really care. I think it's bullshit that they, like, make weed illegal, but, like, it's perfectly fine to just smoke on this, like, cancer stick. You ever realize how fucking weird that is? Enough personal ramblings. This video is fucking dog shit. It's called I Hate Smokers, and it's like a weird rant video.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another fresh commentary. Now today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rant where I basically complain about stuff.
I don't know why he's so explicit about it being unscripted, because I thought all of his videos were.
Just wanted to start bringing rants back. Maybe back then I used to do it a lot, you know? I would just speak off my head and talk about stuff like this.
I feel like that's, like, even sadder, right? These are his scripts, you know? These are thoughts that he had to at least repeat twice. First of all, he tries to claim that smoking is more socially acceptable now.
Everyone knows at least one person that smokes. There's no possible way you don't. Especially because in this latest era, this generation, smoking is more accepted.
Which is definitely not true, unless we're talking about, like, weed, and honestly, I don't know which one he's talking about. He uses them interchangeably at the start of the video.
Gust of wind of nicotine, and it just hits your face, and you just become intoxicated. But nowadays, I guess if you're smoking a blunt, it's cool.
But then he mentions ending your life earlier.
They think they're cool. They think that just because you're ending your freaking life 20 years early, they think it's cool. If you're not on their level, if you're not huffing and puffing with a freaking stick in your mouth, then you're not going to be accepted. You're not going to be validated.
Which I'm pretty certain the science suggests that weed does not do that. So he's definitely talking about tobacco there. In 1994, tobacco companies were trying to convince Congress that nicotine wasn't addictive.
Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
Congressman, cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction. There is no intoxication.
We'll take that as a no, and again, time is short. If you could just, I think each of you believe nicotine is not addictive. We just would like to have this for the record.
Lapis, you know the side effects of smoking cigarettes because they've become less socially acceptable.
Back then, people used to criticize you and say that if you smoke, you're just a bad person. You're just labeled as a bad person.
Hey, voiceover Dan here. You know, he keeps on fucking saying back then, and in retrospect, I don't think he's talking about like 50 years ago.
Especially because people were aware about the negative effects of smoking.
Lapis is probably around my age, 18 to 19-ish. Is his frame of reference the late 2000s? You know, the reason smoking is more socially acceptable now is because you were a child. Most people don't smoke in front of a child, and a lot of the interactions you would have with smoking is through anti-smoking videos. The reason they showed you the anti-smoking videos was because you're a child. Surprisingly enough, they don't want people to make life-altering decisions before they even have a grasp on what the funny numbers their parents pay to the government are. And then there's this fucking hilarious part where he talks about how people, when he walks past them on the street, will blow smoke directly into his face.
One of the things that I hate about people that smoke is when I'm walking on the sidewalk and I'm just trying to get to my destination, they literally in front of me, you know, like you pass, they're in front of you, they're walking by, and yeah, they literally just, for some reason, when they're walking by, they just decide, hey, I'm gonna take a huff. They take a huff, they don't even hold it in for your, you know, for their generosity, you know, just so they know that, you know, you probably don't smoke and they don't want it in your face. No, they do the complete opposite. They want it in your face. So they blow this big gust of wind of nicotine and it just hits your face and you just become intoxicated, and it just, like, for me, it just murders, man. I can't even breathe. I can hardly breathe air. How am I gonna breathe that in?
Now listen, I don't live in America, I've never been to America, maybe this is a regular experience, but me personally, I've never had someone blow smoke directly into my face. If that's something that happens to you on a regular basis, I think that's a you problem, you know? In my headcanon, these smokers just like see him walking down the street and they're just like, I don't like the look of this guy. I'm gonna blow toxic fumes directly into his face. Section 4. What is there to conclude? Alright, I'll be honest. I don't know how to end this video. Lapis makes bad videos, but they don't feel like coherently bad. For all of Cheeto's negatives, he does know how to make a bad video. They're the perfect mix of charismatic, normal commentary channel and batshit insane, incomprehensible, and heinous views. But Lapis just feels like not invested in what he's talking about. I also don't think his fanbase will be that invested in this video. All of the comments on his videos contain the most basic takes, like just verbatim repeating the point of the video back to Lapis, and he still fucking hearts them. Why are you doing that, Lapis? They're just saying the same thing you said, but worse. I tried to make my Cheeto videos convincing. I really tried to think and come up with hard to counter arguments. I think it's the reason a lot of the critical comments are people making non-statements without any real rebuttal. Although this guy did get under my skin. I'm incredibly funny, fuck you. But I think I can safely say I know a Cheeto, or I can at least infer what he's like from the personality he projects online. But I don't know Lapis. His videos don't tell me anything about him. Take the video, teabagging is apparently sexual assault. It doesn't really say anything. It's a video about a Discord screenshot.
The conversation started on Discord a few days ago. Someone posted a screenshot and the entire thing blew the hell up. I mean, everyone is talking about this now because it's just mind-blowing.
There's no context, and by the end he admits nothing is really happening.
Regardless, all this drama around teabagging probably won't affect anything. They could ban a few people left and right, but trust me, people are still gonna do it because we're all used to it, and just because these people complain about it doesn't mean people are gonna stop.
So I don't know why he made the video. Sure, it's kind of an interesting topic at a surface level, but really, it's a fucking stupid opinion that doesn't hold any water. Of course teabagging isn't sexual assault, and no, it's not problematic to teabag in a video game.
The screenshots of this entire conversation spread across social media so fast, to the point where even big YouTubers like Moist Critical came out to address the matter. And like he said, and other YouTubers as well, video games aren't real.
Like, I don't watch Critical, but I bet his video had at least some context to the events, and is probably more engaging. I guess the conclusion just is, LapisGoBlue makes bad videos. Sometimes him making bad videos results in him making these really casual videos about very heavy topics. Sometimes he says stuff that makes no sense, and people in real life think he has such an unlikable face that they blow toxic fumes directly into it. Goodbye.
Michael Myers was scary. Michael Myers didn't do anything. Like, I could probably sprint punch Michael Myers in the face and knock him out and he'd be dead. He'd just be like, it would take one punch and it's right here. And his head would explode. I'm telling you, his head would explode.